Welcome to the AI Gold Rush. Oracle just landed a staggering $300 billion contract over 5 years. But wait, it trades at around 45 times forward earnings. Huge story, huge risk. Is this contract a liftoff to success or a liability waiting to happen? Stick around to find out if Oracle's future is golden or just glitter.
Okay, so moving on to number 3, Oracle sees record surge driven by earnings and cloud deals. And this is about Oracle's share price surging 40% last Wednesday, making the revolving chair of world's richest person around to Larry Ellison. I think Elon was there, Jeff was there. It's been many people who've taken this role. And what do you think that's meaning for himself? And, it must have felt good for that day.
It wouldn't be bad to be the richest person in the world for a day. To me, the interesting thing about it isn't so much that Larry Ellison had the top spot for the day. It's that his net worth went up by $117 billion in that day. So Phil, forget making $117 billion over a lifetime or amassing that much wealth. Try to imagine making more than $100 billion in one day. That's pretty
because
good.
he's got something like what, 40-something% of the company still after all of these years.
Yeah. I mean, good for him. As somebody who went to the University of Michigan, there's a story out there that Ellison's partner, I think his girlfriend who became his wife, is on his way to that anyway. She's a Michigan grad and leaned on him to fund the NIL deal, the name, image, and likeness deal for Bryce Underwood, who's now Michigan's starting quarterback. So thank you, Larry.
Fantastic. And actually, just interestingly, I just found out that Lake Michigan is big enough that you can actually go body surfing on it. I met someone from Michigan body surfing on some waves up here in Queensland. And I said, how did you become such a good body surfer? Lake Michigan's really big.
Well, the Great Lakes are enormous. I think people are used to thinking about lakes that, you stand on one shore, you can see the other shore. The Great Lakes are huge. Michigan has a surplus of water, which, should be a great thing for the state one day. But, it was nice. It was nice growing up there, being able to water ski in the lakes or go swimming. It's not necessarily like Australia's beaches, but you also don't get bit by sharks in a lake. So there's that.
Oh, we love the sharks here.
Yeah.
So given Oracle's stock now trading at 45 times forward earnings, what risks can you see for this valuation?
So let's go back and talk about the reason Oracle stock jumped so much. They had strong financial results. They had a bunch of multi-billion-dollar deals, but the big headline was a commitment from OpenAI to buy $300 billion from Oracle over the next 5 years. Boy, that's a huge number. So the risk is that any change in the AI field could cause problems for Oracle stock. But in addition to that, OpenAI, and we'll talk about this later, but they're having a bit of struggle themselves figuring out how to make the company profitable. Right now, nobody really has a profit model in the AI space. And everyone's like, oh, good, the internet is free and, my AI chatbot is free and I can use ChatGPT for free. Maybe. We'll see, because these companies are spending literally hundreds of billions of dollars on equipment, on these
data
accelerators.
centers.
Yeah, it's hundreds of billions of dollars. So the issue is they don't have a model. And it would be really easy to say, okay, right, but that's not really Oracle's problem. If OpenAI has financial problems, who cares? Oracle will collect the money. And that's why people say, you want to own the picks and shovels company, not the miners, not the explorers. But the thing is, let's go back to the internet boom and bust of a quarter century ago. Cisco stock did great until it did. And when your customers are having financial problems, you'll have financial problems. Do I know that OpenAI isn't going to be able to find their way through it? No, of course not. I don't know that they have any kind of problems, but right now their business model is raising money. And so I think that's the risk. You're paying 45 times forward earnings, assuming a lot of growth. The market's pricing in that growth. But, what if somebody says, hey, wait a minute, we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars on these large language models and on the AI accelerators and all this stuff, and then realize we have no way to make money off of this, and we need a profit model, and that may change things, and it may change how much people are spending.
And it also seems to me that it might be the case that the generation of power that's required to run all of these data centers could be a barrier as well. I mean, who knows what's going to happen to power prices and how many power stations are going to have to be built. And I know you love your uranium story, and I believe that's why that's your gateway drug into AI investment.
Very much so, yeah. So, we are going to need more energy production. And in the United States, that it's going to have to be nuclear, right? Building more natural gas and coal plants just is not politically feasible. It doesn't matter if you agree, you disagree, it's just not politically feasible. It's not going to happen. You can't use wind and solar for always on kinds of things like a data center. It's also not economically viable. Nuclear is going to be the answer. That's going to come from SMRs, that stands for small modular reactors. Just to give you a sense of these requirements, this OpenAI contract with Oracle, that one contract requires 4.5 gigawatts of power. I sound like, Doc Brown from the Back to the Future movies, right? 1.21 gigawatts of power. But that's the generation capacity of 2 Hoover Dams. That is enormous.
That's enormous.
So, right, and where are we going to get that? And, for people saying, well, they'll just use the grid. Okay, well, how long do you want to go without air conditioning and lights? Mm-hmm. Because that's what's happening. And we own Talon Energy, thanks to Enrique Abeda at HX Research. He was the one who presented the idea. We did a webinar with him. That stock is up more than 3x what I paid for it personally, what DKI subscribers paid for it. But the reason that stock has gone up so much is it's in a part of the country, right, in Pennsylvania, where these AI data centers have created so much demand that power prices are spiking. And again, it's really easy to say, well, so who cares? Talon's making money, but they're making money from Amazon. If Jeff is a little less rich, why do we care? Well, the reason you care is because when there's that much demand for power and you can't just flip a switch and produce infinitely more power, Phil, I'm going to ask you this economics question. What's the one thing that can adjust?
The cost of the energy.
The price, right. And people are starting to see it, in their electric bills. And in that part of the country, using your air conditioning was very, very expensive. So, I can't fix that. I can't change that. But what I can do is own the power source that's going to power all of this stuff. And so, I think that's uranium, that's Talon Energy. Even right now, I'm looking at an SMR company. I don't know if I'm going to invest or not, but this is where I'm spending a lot of time and effort.